2024 is almost over, so in this video I wanted to share with you guys some real life buyer and seller experiences from folks that I helped this year to help you make sense of the real estate market here in San Francisco. What is up YouTube? My name is Andres Restrepo and welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you that are new to the channel, I am a real estate agent. I moved here in 2018 from Medellin, Colombia, which is where I'm originally from. And this channel is dedicated to all things real estate. Now, to those of you that are returning, apologies for my absence. I recently had a 4-month-old, so I am now a father, which is an amazing experience, but it also is a lot of work. So please bear with me. My goal is to bring this channel up to date and bring you guys some very valuable content. Without further ado, I will be sharing with you guys 4 experiences, 2 buyers and 2 sellers that I worked with this year to give you an idea of what's happening. And if you stick around until the end of the video, I will share with you why I think some of these deals might be a little bit harder to come by in 2025 and some of the interesting things that are taking place in San Francisco right now. So buyer number 1, this particular client of mine is in his early to mid 20s. He was obviously relying on some family help to be able to buy his first property, but he ended up getting an amazing deal in January of 2024, which is when the market just starts to wake up and people really start to put their plans in gear. This client ended up getting a 3-bed, 2-bath, top floor condo in Hayes Valley on Fillmore Street in a prime location. This condo was top floor. It was 3 beds, 2 baths, around 1,500 square feet. It had parking, it also had storage. And what made this property such a great deal is that they had tried to sell it last fall. So in the fall of 2023, they were unsuccessful. And then they relisted it in the spring, early spring, pretty much in January of 2024. And that's where my client immediately jumped on it. Now, how do we know that this was a deal? We actually looked at the comps, obviously not just recent in the area, but historic, because I feel sometimes that can add some light and some color to the situation. So we found out that the unit below this one had sold for $1.6 million back in 2021. And there was a neighboring building which was built by the same developer back, I believe, in the 80s. And also a lower floor unit in that building sold at $1.625 in 2018. So here we are in 2024, paying below what these folks actually paid for in 2018. That was a smoking deal. Buyer number 2, and I absolutely love this buyer. I've actually sold him 2 properties already this year, and he's looking at a 3rd. But I'm actually gonna be sharing with you a pretty interesting data point with this particular buyer. So he ended up buying a beautiful condo in Cole Valley, also 3 beds, 2 baths, around 1,500 square feet as well. It had 2-car parking. For those of you that are familiar with Cole Valley, you know that Belvedere Street is a beautiful street. It's actually a very popular street because of the festivities that take place there in Halloween. It probably has one of the best Halloween block parties in all of San Francisco. But that aside, my client ended up picking up this condo for $1.9 million. Now, the interesting thing about it is that condo last sold for $2 million in 2022, and it had sold before that for $1.86 million in 2018. Now, mind you, the owners that bought it in 2022 actually spent a bit of money to, remodel it and make it nicer. And my client was able to get it for less than what those folks paid for it. This condo is on a prized block. It's a beautiful Art Deco building. It's a top floor unit with a private deck, expansive views all the way to like the ocean and Golden Gate Bridge, which is just absolutely stunning. And again, the cherry on top is the fact that this is a condo in a 2-unit building, which typically have pretty low HOAs, and you have 2 parking spots, which allows you to rent one of them out and be able to offset what your HOA would be. And again, in this building, it was probably somewhere around $500 per month, but a parking spot in that location easily rents for $300 a month. So you're probably starting to notice a bit of a trend here. The condo market has been relatively softer. Now, when we start to look at the year-over-year data, condo prices are starting to take up, and funny enough, they've ticked up more than single-family homes. Now, I think that, it's not typically what we see, but it is what we're currently seeing right now. So a lot of these clients that are, that did get condos through us this year ended up getting some pretty sweet deals. All right, so let's talk about sellers. We recently sold 715 Wisconsin Street. This was a beautiful single family home in Potrero Hill. It was a 2-bed, 1-bath house with a beautiful backyard, great location, and a pretty large basement, which gave prospective buyers the option to develop the downstairs, maybe even go up if they so chose, and that would actually be a really good play, because that property, if you were to build it up, you would have some really stunning downtown views. Now the home was pretty small. Again, it's only 2 beds, 1 bath. Square footage was 1,083 per the tax record. And the home was in really nice shape. Like, the condition was generally good, especially on the inside. The bathroom had been remodeled. The floors were really nice. They were real wood floors. And the kitchen had all brand new appliances, though it was a little bit of a compact kitchen. But the overall layout was actually really nice, and the backyard was lovely. We listed this property at $1,495,000, and after 11 days on the market, we had multiple offers. I want to say at one point we had around 10 to 11 interested parties, but some folks wrote it off because of the size. We ended up with an offer at $1,750,000, which was $255,000 above the sales price, which is kind of in the range that we were expecting for this property to begin with. Our seller was really thrilled with that outcome. And again, single family homes are generally going to be the most competitive segment out of any other property type that you will experience if you're trying to buy one here in San Francisco. Alrighty, so seller number 2, and this is where things get a little bit interesting. So seller number 2 was a single family home in Bernal Heights, which is also a really sought after neighborhood. This property was 4 beds, 1 bath, which out the gate, that bed to bath ratio is not going to work for a lot of folks, and people are generally looking at these houses like, where can I add a second bathroom? And obviously it's not cheap to add a bathroom, so folks are weighing that into their consideration. Now, these folks paid $1.3 million for this house in 2018. The biggest drawbacks that this home had were the fact that it had no parking, it had no backyard, and if you're looking for a single family home, those are pretty much must-haves for most folks. The property worked well for the buyers then, obviously, that are now the sellers, and you know, they were a young couple, no kids, no cars, you know, they just get around everywhere by bike, so it worked really well for them. But again, you have to be mindful when you're looking to buy a property, because you want to think about the resale value in the future, and there should be some things that are just non-negotiables. So again, the drawbacks, no car, no backyard, but we had another major issue. And for those of you that maybe have been shopping for a house here in San Francisco over the past couple of years, you'll know that insurance has become extremely hard to get. And there are attributes that homes have that make them even harder to insure. And this one actually had a couple. One of them was it had a brick foundation, and brick foundations are not cheap to fix. We actually got a bid to replace it to something newer, and it would have cost around $170,000. And the electrical in this property was also super old and dated. It had the old knob and tube, and that would have cost probably around $30,000 if somebody really wanted to modernize the home. So this property ended up selling for $1,150,000. These folks ended up losing some money, which is never ideal, but again, it's because of the situations of the market. We had to deal with higher mortgage rates, and we also had to deal with not just the things that I mentioned, such as no parking, no backyard. It had an old foundation and old electrical, but the pest report was also quoting around $30,000 worth of damage. That means that there were wood-destroying organisms present in the property that warranted an extra $30,000. So again, somebody looking at a property like this, they're already going into it knowing that they're going to have to spend some money to really update and modernize everything. So there you have it, folks. I mean, it really shows turnkey properties in great neighborhoods are doing really well. Properties that need a little bit of work, you might get a deal there. So consider those, but again, obviously know what your non-negotiables are. And then condos, I am still seeing deals for condos in this market, but you have to be very mindful of the type of condo that you're buying into, because not all condos appreciate the same. And if you have any questions about that, feel free to leave me a comment below, and I'd be happy to answer and let you know which condos do better than others. For those of you that stuck around until the end of the video, thank you so much. And here is my take on why I think that some of these deals that I just shared with you are going to be a little bit harder to come by in 2025 and beyond. San Francisco right now feels like it's hitting a turning point where I'm starting to feel a little bit more energy building back in the city, and people are starting to come back. It definitely seems like the streets are also getting cleaner. I mean, we just assigned a new mayor to San Francisco, which is also really encouraging. This person appears to be pretty pro-business and pro cleaning the streets. And I'll tell you from firsthand experience, I drive all around. I know which streets are nice and which streets are not so nice. And it really seems, stuff is really getting cleaner. So in my opinion, the fact that we're gonna get a rebound in, people coming back, we have this new exciting technology in AI. SF is known for tech, for biotech, for venture capital. I generally feel like there's gonna be a lot of synergy over these next few years, and people are gonna start coming back into the city, and that's ultimately gonna end up driving up values. Now, I don't expect exponential jumps like maybe we saw between say 2015 and 2019, or even further, obviously post-pandemic. But I do think that, it's gonna get competitive out there again. So in any case, if you guys found any value from this content, make sure to give the video a like, comment, let me know what you think, let me know what you're seeing out there. If you're not from here, let me know what's happening in your market. I'm always curious to hear other people's experiences. And I'll see you guys in the next video.